2018 Range Rover Velar Diesel Euro-Spec. Land Rover was a late bloomer. It took 22 years after the first Land Rover in 1948 for the brand to launch a second model line, the original Range Rover. It took almost another 2 decades for that car to reach the United States, but well before then the combination of V8 performance, rugged utility, and smart design had set the archetype for the upmarket SUV in other parts of the world. Highs: modest diesel price premium, accomplished chassis, stylish interior. Lows: not quick, reedy engine note, gimmicky controls. These days Range Rover has become a brand in its own right and the source of most of Jaguar Land Rover's profits. Which is why new members of the clan keep turning up. First was the Range Rover Sport. Then the Baby Evoque, and now the Velar, which splits the difference. It sits on the same aluminum architecture that underpins the Jaguar F-Pace, but it looks just as sleek. A fact that's reflected in the prices charged for it. But although Velar buyers will have to be moderately wealthy, that doesn't mean that they won't be averse to saving money on running costs. Which is why there will be the option of a diesel engine in the US. The same 180 horsepower 2.0-liter turbo diesel from the new Ingenium family that we've already seen in various Jaguar products. It's set to be sold at a modest $1,500 price premium over the 4-cylinder gasoline engine in the Velar's S, SE, and HSE grades. Although the 180 horsepower engine is available in Europe, it is restricted to the base Velar and Velar S. So our plush HSE example instead was packing the more powerful version of the same power plant. It adds a second turbocharger to boost output to 238 horsepower. Making this Velar considerably quicker. Its factory-claimed 6.8 seconds 0 to 60 mph time is 1.6 seconds under that quoted for the 180 horsepower version. On the basis of our experience with the 180 horsepower diesel, when we tested the Jaguar Z20D, we can safely predict that the US spec Velar diesel won't be a rocket ship. Torque of the town. Yet we can confirm that the idea of a compression ignition Velar is not a bad one. The combination of high torque at low engine speeds works particularly well with the car's relaxed dynamic demeanor. And under everyday use the diesel feels pretty much as effortless as its brawnier gasoline siblings. While the sequentially turbocharged engine we sampled has a higher peak of 368 pounds-foot of torque. The single-turbo US spec diesel still produces an entirely respectable 317 pounds-foot from just 1500 RPM. Considerably more than the standard turbocharged 2.0-liter gasoline 4-cylinder's 269 pounds-foot, and just shy of the available supercharged 3.0-liter V6's 332 pounds-foot. Pressed harder, the diesel betrays its lack of spark plugs and emits some surprisingly loud noises when pushed to upper RPM. It's so much happier when kept in its broad mid-range than when being asked to explore the top of the tachometer. It's possible the lower output engine will be quieter, but it will have to be worked harder to produce similar acceleration. Fortunately, the standard 8-speed automatic is particularly adept at keeping the engine in its sweet spot. And there's no need to extend beyond that in most passing maneuvers on two-lane roads. Apart from the occasional diesel vibration passing through the firewall, refinement is excellent, with the Velar's cabin feeling well insulated from the outside world. Our test car came fitted with the optional air springs, which give a pillowy ride over larger bumps, but maintain respectable body control over coarser undulations. It also affords a lowered access height and an off-road mode that raises the body by 1.8 inches at low speeds, increasing obstacle clearance to a respectable 9.9 inches, although we doubt that many Velar owners are planning a trip into the wilderness. The driving position is excellent, although lower than is normal in a Range Rover, and the seats are both supportive and comfortable. While the Velar clearly has been tuned for comfort rather than speed, the steering relays a respectable amount of communication, and responses are eager enough to make the Velar feel reasonably enthusiastic when asked to cope with a twisty road. If looks could thrill, we suspect that most Velar buyers will be more attracted to how the car looks than the way it drives, especially to the theatrical touches such as the flush door handles that motor themselves out of the door as the car is unlocked. The cabin employs high-quality materials in a striking design, but there also are some gimmicky touches. The air vents are about half the height of those in most cars, presumably dictated by design, and they seem to work about half as well, blowing noisily as the climate control system fights to push air through them. The Touch Pro Duo user interface also looks better than it works, with the two touchscreens duplicating some functions but being curiously reticent about others. There are two physical knobs whose functions are fluid and depend on which menu you